Welcome back to Blacksheep Barbell Podcast. Today we have Dan Allison on the show. He's a competitive powerlifter and also a coach in Livonia at Omnevo Fitness.
A gym that's pretty local to us. A lot of good features, some of the recovery aspect, cold bath, sauna. Huge gym, right? They got calibrated powerlifting plates, equipment, super nice furnished gym. It's going to be cool to talk to Dan and just kind of figure out what they offer more in detail and kind of what separates them from other gyms.
Yeah, well, Dan, welcome to the show.
Coach Dan, how are you?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
How you been? You been busy today?
Oh yeah, we're blessed and stressed at the same time.
Yeah.
Every day is great, but today was 4 a.m. until 10 minutes ago.
Man.
So we saw 35 clients today and got a training session in. So good long day, but that's what we signed up for, doing this business. And as we're growing our staff and stuff too. So myself and then my partner Ben, who's the overall owner of the gym here, we'll get some time to rest a little bit down the road. But right now, it's kind of worked us till dawn to keep this thing rolling. So
yeah, for sure. It's always a good thing to be busy. It gets stressful and hard, but it's good to be busy.
You think about the times where you're getting started and it's just a couple clients and you're trying to put things together, and you look back on that and you're like, well, as tired as you get some days, you wouldn't trade that back for anything. So
right. Yeah. And I'd much rather be busy than just be sitting around like, man, nothing to do, nothing going on. Like,
oh, for sure. So real happy to be on the show, you guys. I'm a big fan of what I've listened to so far with Kevin, Drew, a few of your other guys and stuff. So I really like the setup you guys have, and it's definitely excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, man. Of course, we appreciate that. First off, what a beautiful gym, Omnevo Fitness, man. It looks awesome.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I can't wait to have you guys out to see it in person. It's an old gym called Body Rocks that was here since like the 70s or 80s in Livonia.
Oh wow!
And it's kind of an ancient gem, and we were lucky enough to be able to buy it about a year ago, June, and we put a ton of renovations into it. And we just saw an absolute kind of dream gym, if you will, in our vision as far as, hey, this place is 27,000 square feet. Wow. It's got more weight room space than you could ever imagine. Bunch of different rooms and stuff. Kind of like Kevin was talking about on the podcast, how Dan Green's got all the different rooms at his gym.
Mm-hmm.
Made me kind of think of what we're blessed to have here. So it's like tonight, I trained a bunch of personal training clients upstairs, and during that time we had probably 10, 20 powerlifters downstairs. Working up with some heavy squats and benches and deadlifts, and then we had a bunch of Gen Pop folks that are brand new to the gym all training, and kind of everything in between. So it's a really great atmosphere, a lot of good people that are showing up, and we're having a lot of fun with it so far.
Yeah, that's awesome having that mix, just the diversity of people, experienced lifters, new lifters, and just seeing everybody communicate and they can piggyback off one another and learn different things.
For sure. And, it doesn't always work. So we're lucky enough to have the space that we do just allows for that. So there's, some people that haven't been around lifters before, so they don't realize that everyone's pretty goofy and pretty nice for the most part, so they can kind of ease their way into the gym. And then, it's enough room where lifters feel comfortable coming too, and they're not going to get yelled at for chalking up or lifting a heavy weight or something like that,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm looking at the Omnevo Fitness page here. So your guys' grand opening, was it August 1st?
Yeah, so we've been kind of open for business here since October, kind of under the radar as far as advertising the membership. We kind of transferred over our 12-year-old personal training business over to here. Basically just took care of our personal training clients for a few months. And then last weekend opened it up basically for more of a mass amount of new signups. That was last weekend. We had a really great turnout for our grand opening party. Probably 150 people showed up over a couple days. Oh. We had a band play. We had a bunch of catering from Cantoros and a couple local food trucks. And it was really awesome. And so we've got, a good amount of signups from that. And at the same time, I know we're going to get into price and business stuff, but we're not trying to pack the gym with just as many people as possible. We want it to be a place that, everyone who's here wants to be here. And, what people get sick of at other gyms, commercial gyms particularly, is having to wait for all the equipment to open up. A bunch of, nothing wrong with teenage guys. We're all teenage guys at once, but the group of 6 frat guys that can't get off the press machine or whatever, we don't want anyone having a super long wait for stuff. So,
Yeah.
We didn't want a million signups, but we definitely got the attention of the local community and got a lot of people interested. And some have signed up. Some are doing classes. Some are doing memberships. Some are doing drop-ins. So we feel like we've got something for about everybody. We got a $10 drop-in. We got a membership, and then we've got higher ticket personal training and stuff like that, and then Pilates classes, and some more stuff to come, like massage and therapy and stuff like that.
That's awesome. That gym is huge, man. I mean, I remember Drew was telling me how big it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever been to a gym that big.
Well, I'll tell you what, but Ben and I had our last 3 buildings that we rented out of were very close there, and we've driven by this building a million times.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have guessed it was 3,000 square feet from the way it looks from the road.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's freaking 27,000 square feet is just mind-boggling. We're still trying to figure out how to make the most of it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some stuff right now. I see you got some pickleball courts.
We've got some pickleball courts. So the place came with 6 basically racquetball courts that were pretty run down. So we gutted those completely, redid the walls, redid the floors, all that, and then basically turned 2 of them into multi-purpose courts where you can do racquetball, pickleball, volleyball, any of those types of sports. So we got those open for rental, and then we turned one of the room into like kind of a kickboxing station. We got like 10 like TRX stations in there, medicine balls you can throw against the wall, stuff like that. Kettlebells, Indian clubs, and stuff like that. Then another room we've got primal recovery. One of our former clients, Zach Atwood, he's got his business, Primal Recovery Physical Therapy. So him and a couple other physical therapists, they've turned one of those courts into a therapy clinic. They treat a lot of athletes, a lot of return to play for soccer and things like that. And then we're actually in the process of turning one of the other courts into a full-on powerlifting room.
Oh,
so that can have like freaking 2 monolifts, 2 comp benches, 2 deadlift platforms, a couple combo racks, stuff like that. So we're pretty pumped about that.
That's awesome. And you can bring all these different types of people in there, right? So like you have somebody come in just for physical therapy. Someone just wants to play pickleball, like we've played before, and volleyball. But yeah, powerlifting, man, like that'll be awesome to add to that. And you guys already have great equipment there anyway.
Yeah, so it'll more or less be open and spaced up for other people that aren't powerlifters to lift. Like we'll have a room that's all powerlifting specific, and then now that I get one of the monoliths off the gym floor, we can put some other smaller racks there. Just kind of multi-purpose racks, and now everyone who's into bodybuilding or general fitness now will have more space to do their rack work too. So it'll kind of help out everybody.
Yeah.
I think a big thing I'm seeing too that I like a lot is the cold plunge and sauna.
Yeah, that was something we've always been a big fan of the sauna. We've had we had 2 infrared saunas in our personal training spot over the last 6 years. And when we bought this place, the locker rooms needed a complete makeover, so gutted those completely. And they had a spot for saunas, so we had sauna rebuilt in both the men's and the women's locker room. They both go up to about 190 degrees and super, super nice. Everything new from the flooring to the wood, everything like that. And then so that's kind of the most popular thing. And then the cold tub has been good. Not as many benefits to the cold tub as the sauna. The sauna benefits are absolutely endless, but the cold tubs, a lot of people like it just for that dopamine hit before training, getting in for a minute. Some people like it, like the way it makes their joints feel when they're afterwards. Some athletes like to use it between games or contests or whatever. So yeah, it's been really nice. And then we've got, which I don't think we have pictured, we've got brand new showers. So we got like 5 walk-in showers that have, area you can put your bag and change, and then the area you can, wash yourself and stuff like that. So I'd say pretty well-rounded, locker room, comparable to like not as big as Lifetime, but similar in the sense that, hey, we got the towel service, we got sauna, cold tub, good showers, stuff provided for you in there. So, we're trying to make it, a place where it's known that you can train really hard, push yourself and not get yelled at, but also it's a place that's clean and has, kind of somewhat of a luxury feel to it as far as the, the non-lifting stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff that you can do. It's definitely, I get the vibe, it's a place that you could just spend hours at.
You really
training, do your recovery, play some pickleball, whatever you want, like just hang out all day.
Yeah, we got some hockey players that train in the summertime for their off-season training, and they'll come here early, do a little cold tub do their strength and conditioning workout with me, and then they're hitting the bike, and then they're maybe playing some pickleball, barbecuing on their truck out back, and just staying all day. And we've got the space for it, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, is that like the first big type of gym over there in Livonia too?
Well, I'd have to check. I'd have to check on that, but I think, this one probably was back in the day in the '80s. It used to be. This place used to have like 800 members at one point.
Wow.
We've got just under a couple hundred now, and we're not trying to get that big. But yeah, and then we got an LA Fitness down the road. We got a Lifetime not too far away, and then Livonia's actually got a really nice rec center for their city. That's kind of like a mini Lifetime, from what I understand. So I would say a little competition, but really, absolutely, there's nothing that goes toe to toe with exactly all the services we've got going.
Yeah, we went to Lifetime one time, and that was like an all-day thing that we did. But but the thing that's different that I see with your gym is that more like powerlifting focus and real nice equipment. Because Lifetime, as big as it is, it's still kind of like that general like LA and commercial gym and like everything else. So that's really cool that you guys opened that. How long? So that's your like second location? Is that what it is, or third?
This is our first location that is like a membership gym.
Okay.
Ever since 2012, my business partner Ben and I have ran basically a personal training only business that's been personal training and then like small group personal training. So we've had 4 different buildings together before this. This is the first building that we actually are buying ourselves. The other ones have been like, leasing for 3-4 years at a time. They've all been in Livonia and Plymouth within a couple mile radius, if you will. So we've been right around this building for years and known of it. And, went up for sale. It's been up for sale for a few years, but really came on our radar a little over a year ago, and, kind of hopped on it at that point. Like I said, I didn't realize the place was even in business still, let alone it had freaking this much space in it too. And then we inherited a lot of equipment with it too. You guys will see when you come here. Got a ton of great old school bodybuilding machines from Icarian. Good stuff from I think the '90s. Really good like pec deck, shoulder machines. A lot of great leg machines that came with it. And then like you guys saw in the pictures, we added all kind of the newer stuff, all the top notch powerlifting gear. A lot of the stuff like Kevin talked about in his episode. A lot of the comp bars, comp plates. Bands, chains, new racks, monoliths, comp bench, all that kind of stuff, and then added AstroTurf, added sleds, kettlebells, a little bit of strongman stuff, and all that. So, yeah, it's been our, like I said, kind of fifth, and I would say final building as far as our goal goes. We'd like to make this, a mainstay of Livonia for, as long as both Ben and I live, and just make it a great place to be, and just keep kind of making it better.
Yeah, that's something I was going to ask. Was when you guys took over the old location, did they leave all the equipment behind?
That was something that was part of the purchase agreement. It was kind of like, hey, we'll sell it for X amount without the equipment, sell it for X amount with the equipment. We chose with the equipment. Because again, it was all stuff we looked at like, man, we can just reupholster this stuff, kind of put some new cables on some of it, and it's as good as new. And you guys will see when you try it, this Icarian equipment is unbreakable. It's very high quality. So we figured, hey, we're either going to use it or we can sell it and then use that to, upgrade to some stuff that we want to get. So there's a few collector's pieces with the Icarian we're going to hold on to no matter what. And then some of it we may use as bartering chips to, upgrade to like some newer stuff. Like I know Arsenal's a good brand, Atlantis, Hammer Strength, stuff like that. So, we're going to try to make it to where it's a mix of old school equipment, but also, new high quality stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice when you have that mix too of newer stuff and older stuff, and you can't knock some of that older stuff. Some of that old equipment is, oh man, the way that it runs is so smooth. At
first thought we were like, let's sell it all, but then we actually saw it. We're like, oh, like this is really good collector's stuff. Like we're going to hang on to this here. Right. So, and I think anyone that's like a bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength enthusiast, you come in and you realize that when you start using it. Like you said, that mix is pretty cool. Like I always I always fanboy out at gyms that I see in person or on Instagram across the country or world that have that nice blend of old collector's pieces, and then new top of the line stuff, and kind of everything in between.
Yeah, I definitely say that was the move, acquiring some of that equipment, because again, you never know if you'd find some of these pieces again.
Exactly. I know some of them I don't think you can find. I'm not a real big equipment nerd. There's some real big collectors out there. I'm not sure how hard some of it is to get your hands on, but I doubt it's terribly easy.
How long was the process of, when you guys acquired the gym, you said it was an older gym. What was the process of getting it, and how long to getting it to where you wanted it to be, doing all the renovations and everything?
I know you guys had mentioned possibly wanting to open a gym one day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a mix of a dream come true and a nightmare. As far as, I would say not opening a gym in general, but the way this went. So I'd say dream come true in the sense of, hey, we landed on a great opportunity being able to buy this. Stars lined up for it to make it happen. The space that we have is amazing. The people that we have, not only members, clients, friends, family that have supported us, have been amazing. The amount of support we've gotten has been great. We couldn't do it alone. But it was an absolute nightmare of a project. And it's, I would say never done, but all the big stuff is almost done. So we bought it in June of 2024. And from there, we still kept our old facility until October. So we were running two places at once for a little bit. We had half of our staff over at the old place just executing training sessions for clients. And then Ben was over here with our contractors getting this place ready while we still had active members here. So the person we bought this gym from still had 100 members here. So we're kind of getting to know these new people over here, keeping the gym going so they can train. And then also, over here meeting with the contractors. So it was a complete rebuild of the gym. So, all the electrical had to be redone. There was one working HVAC system. We had to put in 5 HVAC systems. We ripped up most of the carpet, put new flooring down, took out probably half the machines. We had to put in probably about 120 yards total of turf upstairs and downstairs. Moved our entire old gym into here. It just into one room basically upstairs, which you guys will see. We've got like an old yoga studio upstairs, and we basically took all of our flooring from our old gym, put it in there, took all of our equipment from our old gym, put it in there, and it just happened to freaking fit in that room perfectly. So we've got our little room that we train all of our personal training clients in. Then the rest of the gym's kind of open for everybody else. We had the 6 courts we had to redo, so that was redoing the flooring completely, ripping that out, ripping the kind of scuffed up walls down completely, putting up brand new walls and ceilings in the courts. We took one of those courts, basically built a ceiling / floor in the middle of it, which I guess they refer to as a mezzanine. The bottom of that is part of Zach's physical therapy clinic, and then the upstairs of that is a Pilates studio. So that all looks great in pictures, but that used to be just a kind of rundown racquetball court. Then the same thing, like I said, the pickleball courts, put the floor, the pickleball specific flooring in there and all that kind of thing. So really, I mean, between all those projects, all the electrical work, and then the locker rooms were in really poor shape. To the point where the old owner basically turned the water off, didn't let people poop or pee at all.
Oh man,
a lot of enemies. And within that time, the locker rooms were just run down. Like I brought Kevin and some of the odd lifts guys over just to give their raw, honest opinion. I'm like, hey guys, walk through the gym and tell me like what about this we need to change that's gonna like push customers away. And they took one step in the locker room, and the smell of like just old plumbing hit him in the face. And he's like, dude, you guys got to redo this thing all the way down to the wire, Yeah. And so Ben and I knew at that point, like, yeah, if we're going to have this place like we want it, have it clean and luxurious and, not have people talk about it being dirty and stuff, we're going to need to redo these locker rooms completely. So that was quite the project. We had the contractors spent a couple months just tearing the old ones apart. Again, even down to the plumbing, and rebuild that back up, build the showers from scratch. They built those saunas from scratch. The cold tubs we put in there at the very last, put new lockers in, everything. I mean, it looks brand new when you guys go in there. You wouldn't even know that there's old gross locker rooms. So that was a couple months. The service counter that you guys see in the pictures, that was a few month project. A lot of detail behind it with like all the electrical work around it. Just a lot of little stuff, just, new ceiling tiles, because there's holes in half of them. There was holes in half the roof. Like we really don't know how inspectors didn't shut this building down before, quite honestly.
Yeah.
The literal holes in the roof, like we had the turf in, and then we show up the next day and there's like all the rain from the storm the night before on the turf.
Wow.
So it was a nightmare, but we also knew that we were getting into that. We knew this building, we got into this knowing that this building needed to be completely, loved again from the ground on up and completely redone. So I would say it's just about there. We've got one more racquetball court that's in the process of being finished right now. And then the powerlifting room, the room is finished. We just need to furnish it with the equipment. So once that stuff is done, I'd say we've got everything done. Like the parking lots just got repaved, literally finished the day of our grand opening. They're putting stripes down the day before. We didn't know if they'd even have that done, and then they were working at a good clip. This shit if any lesson I could give you guys is however long someone tells you it's going to take to get, construction done at your future gym or whatever, times that by about 5.
Yeah.
And if you do it faster than that, then fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it takes time. And I think everybody was working hard. It was just a lot of detail and a lot of real deep, gritty work that needed to be done. And, but at the same time, Ben and I are really glad that it took as long as it did, because everything came out with really high detail and really good finished product to what we wanted. So we'll take that over a rush product that, was just, more of a patching holes type idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Was that always your goal to open up like this membership style gym? Because is Omnevo more of like a personal gym that you guys had, kind of like Odd Lifts?
Yeah. Now, you know what? It was like Odd Lifts in the sense that it was private.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was for-profit personal training sessions only,
Okay.
right? So my partner and I, Ben, and then a few other trainers we have on staff, basically 5:30 in the morning until 7 at night, we see anywhere from like 4 to 8 clients per hour amongst our staff. And that's kind of been our business model since, I'd say, 2012, to where it's pretty much just, so we call it semi-private personal training. So let's say Ben and I are both coaching on the floor. I'll have 4 clients that I'm training. He'll have 4 that he's training. All 4 people are going to be on their own individual program, so it's personal training, if you will, discounted a little bit with the price points because you're working together with some other people, but it's not, at the same time, it's not group training to where everyone's doing the same workout.
Right.
We've done some group stuff in the past, but we kind of save that more for fun or like charity events or, things like that. We really cut our teeth on the private and that semi-private personal training pretty much exclusively. And we didn't, to answer your question, we really had no plans of having a membership gym. It was a thought that maybe we would someday. We really didn't know. We really weren't pursuing it. We were, we've done better business-wise every single year since 2012 with our personal training. So in our mind, we're just like, hey, we're going to rent a 2,500 to 5,000 square foot facility and, do our personal training thing, go home at night, not worry about members. But this opportunity came up on us for this building. And Ben and I talked about the membership gym a little bit, just joking around. And then when this opportunity came up and we came over here and looked at it, we started getting the thoughts rolling real quick on how we were not if we were going to do a membership gym, but just how we're going to make this place work, because we saw so much potential here. And then said, I've been involved in powerlifting since basically since high school. And, I know a ton of people in the lifting community. And I was like, man, I just know with my connections that we're going to be able to get some powerlifters here that are going to want to come here. I know there's going to be bodybuilders that want to come here. And I know there's going to be, we've had a lot of people reach out to us in the past that we're kind of looking for more of a membership, but we could only offer them personal training, and that was maybe a little bit out of their price range or what they wanted to do. So we had a nice list of people that were interested in working with us, but we're looking for a membership. So with this, we're like, hey, we got a good list of people we can reach out to saying, hey, you don't have to pay us for coaching, you can pay us for a membership, come use our gym. So we just kind of looked at it like, man, we're going to make this work no matter what. And Ben's got a great network too. He used to run a nutrition store. That's how I met him back in the mid 2000s. He ran a nutrition store, and he knows a ton of people in the area too through powerlifting community, strongman, bodybuilding, and just general fitness and stuff. So between him and I, we really just trusted our network and believed in the work we've been doing so far, to where we feel like we know what people want out of a commercial gym experience, just from hearing your training partners talk, or, just hearing talk of people that train, right? Like, not going to talk about any places, but people, just sharing info. Like, man, I went to this place and the daily was, $40. Or, man, I went to this place and there's no toilet paper. I went to this place, there's no air conditioning. I went to this place and they wouldn't let us use chalk. Went to this place and they don't have loud music. So it's like, all right, noted. And so we're like, all right, let's make this place everything those places aren't. Let's make it to where the music's loud. Let's make it to where it's clean. Let's have air conditioning. Let's let people lift heavy. Let's not bitch at people when they use chalk. Let's actually provide chalk, and all that kind of thing. So I feel like the more we lean into that and we keep leaning into it, the better the membership, part of it's getting. And we're not experts in that area, but we want to keep making it better. So we're trying to lean into, our intuition, also B, feedback we're getting from people that come in.
That's like a really important part too, over like just advertising online, is just word of mouth, just people telling their friends about it and everything. So you have to really watch those things, like do we have everything, like all our shit together? So that's a good thing to go about.
And you can have some cute tagline, but if people start coming to your place and they're not experiencing that, then it doesn't help. So like you said, word of mouth and reputation is far more powerful than some cute marketing plan. Leaning into, just letting the members, hey, what do you like about it? What didn't you like? How can we make this better? Just trying to lean into that and, just keep building and learning from mistakes, if you will.
Yeah. That's part of just being like a gym connoisseur too, if you will. You go to all these different gyms, Eric, always comes up in conversation like, man, this gym's nice, but I wish they had this. Or, man, could you imagine if this gym had this or allowed this? And, you might find some gyms that have awesome equipment, everything you want, but hey, no chalk. And it's like, damn, they're missing that one thing,
and people are going to find something everywhere too. So I also accept the fact that we're not going to be perfect. We might be too expensive for some people. We're okay with that because we don't want to be heavily populated. We don't let you take your shirt off.
Right.
Some people, that's a problem. For us, we don't care. But, it's one of those things. You can pick holes in anything, but we're trying to lean into, hey, let's listen to people. If it's something, that doesn't seem like a big deal, like chalk, it's like, cool, we can just clean it up at the end of the night,
Right.
It's going to make people happy and make people, again, I don't know you guys too well, but from what I've gotten from you guys, kind of fell in love with the iron, fell in love with training. And that's what we want to be a place for. We want to be a place for people that love coming to the gym. And, we want to try to keep that experience going for them.
Yeah. Going back to, just talking about the whole process of starting this gym and everything that went into it, remodeling financially. And that's something that we're learning and seems to be a common denominator that we've heard from these gym owners is, we think, hey, let's get some equipment, let's find a space. But like you're saying, putting a lot of emphasis and money into the locker rooms, the service desk, the parking lot, the roofing, like things you don't think about that are going to take a lot of time.
Yeah. People notice when you like polish a turd. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, cool, we got like some tarps over a hole in the ceiling. Like, it kind of shows you probably don't care about your service then either.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't, we got a lot of business training and mentorship. And so one thing I judge restaurants on, if I go to a restaurant and the bathroom's not cleaned, or at least tended to keep clean, I don't trust the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and not necessarily all the time, like, you understand places get busy or whatever, but it's like a blatant disregard in some area. It's like, well, you know, how can I trust that service?
Right.
So here, it's like, it's not really, we could have a shit parking lot and still have great stuff going on here, but it's just kind of our mindset of, you know, if we're going to do one thing right, we're going to try to do everything that we do right. And obviously be open to making mistakes, but yeah, we know that's just a reflection of how we want to treat this place and essentially treat that experience that we want to provide for people.
Yeah. How do you like juggle with owning the gym, coaching people, and also I know you're training too, right? Aren't you like 12 weeks out or something from another show?
Yeah, I'm doing that same meet in October that Kevin was talking about in your show, October 18th up in Rochester. Yep. Yeah, so it's timemanagement.com. So I mean, I haven't always been great at time management, but this profession has made me get really good with it, right? So I've got everything. You know, we've got our business planned out to a T. You know, we run everything on an app for our clients. So it's like we got every client goes and has their schedule set up for the week or the month. Got our staff schedule set up in there, and then, you know, we've got there's set times where there's not, clients can't sign up for training certain times of the day, and really have just, you know, I came to terms years ago that I'm not going to get to train at like this most ideal time every single day or every week. And I've got to find my holes, and just, if I want to be great at powerlifting, which I do, and I love powerlifting, then I'm just gonna have to make it work, you know, where it's going to work. So I've got my set training days that I keep pretty religiously. But I also, kind of like Kevin said with his job, or with his talking about his job, is, you know, I know my priority things I need to hit. And then if I need to get a couple things in throughout the week and sprinkle them in between sessions, you know, it's like, hey man, you're at the gym. You can, no excuses to get it in. So like, if I've got a lower body day and I've only got 30 minutes, it's like, okay, I'm going to get in my squat variation or my deadlift variation. And then, hey, if I need to get the reverse hyper and leg curl, leg extension in, can bust that out a little bit later. So just try to set it up to where it's, you know, in a slot that works. So like if we train in clients, you know, 5:30 in the morning until 11 a.m., you know, it's like, okay, train between 11 and 1, get some lunch, come back, do it again. And then every Sunday morning is training over at Kevin's place at Odd Lifts, and then every Tuesday night over at Kevin's too. So those are staples that I kind of rely on. And I set up my two heaviest days to where it's over at Kevin. So I got all the guys there, and, you know, there's no excuses. So now my other 2 training days, you know, I've got no excuses to get it in, you know, in a half hour to an hour and a half slot that I've got at the gym here. So it wasn't always easy figuring that out, but I've got that down pretty good now. You know, it used to be, hey, the stars and the sun got aligned to train. I got to take a nap beforehand. You know, I got to drink the perfect pre-workout. And, you know, you just realize that if you want to do it, you got to just put it in where it's practical and get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a big part of that too, is just having that grit to be like, hey, you know, the circumstances, everything's not going to be perfect, but I got to get the session in, you know, little sleep, little food, but it's like, I still got to train, still got to get it in.
I just take a mindset of, hey, if I'm on really short sleep and not a ton of energy when I hit this session, and I do my best with it, I'm going to be more rested on meet day, and there's going to be a lot more strength there in the tank. So I've got a pretty good perspective with kind of knowing my expectations for the day of like, hey, Sunday and Tuesday, there's no excuses. Like my body's ready to handle a heavy loads, nervous system's fresh, ready to go. And then those other days, like, hey, you might be a little bit tired, whatever it is. So I'm just getting in my rep work. I'm getting in stuff that's more check the box type stuff. And I'm not trying to set big PRs on those days. just kind of taking a real logical approach to it.
When did you start competing? Because I'm sure you didn't start right away. So was somebody
Yeah.
just asking you like, oh, you should try to compete, kind of like how Kevin was talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll say this. You can always fact check someone on openpowerlifting.com if they say they've done meets.
Okay.
So on there, I've done like 20 some meets over the years. I started lifting in 8th grade for football. We were doing bench, squat, deadlift, and cleans from the get go. Built up some pretty good strength by the time I was a senior in high school. Was benching over 3, squatting over 5, and deadlifting about 5, but in 12th grade. And
Wow.
then went to college. Wish I would have tried to play football in college, but I didn't. So that's kind of what really made me think like, oh man, I'm not doing anything competitive anymore, but I don't want to leave the weight room. The weight room was my favorite part of football and playing hockey and stuff growing up. I loved the training, loved the off-season preparation, and I loved football too. I like going out there and hitting people and stuff, but the weight room part was the best. And so when I got to college, I went to Western Michigan. I had, still training really hard. Started dorking out about, reading animalpack.com stuff and T Nation, all that kind of shit, Elite FTS.
Yeah.
And it's like shit, like, all right, I've been lifting like for football, and the coaches, looking back, the coaches had us on a pretty good plan. It was like a bigger, faster, stronger kind of deal. And I was like, okay, I've got to get more methodical in my training here, and started kind of training with more like powerlifter type programs, conjugate programming, block program. I've tried every program out there. And it was about a year into being out there, I met some guys that were from, one guy particularly that was from the Chicago area, and he had done powerlifting meets. I had never heard of powerlifting. I went to Trenton High School, and you guys are from downriver too, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any powerlifting through the schools down there still, is there?
No.
Yeah. Well, I knew about lifting, but I didn't know that there was powerlifting meets until I got to college. And so my buddy Ronnie Muller, he introduced me to a group of guys over at a gym called Strength Beyond. Strength Beyond is still out there in Kalamazoo, a few locations, but this particular one's not open anymore. The owner at the time, Mike White, he was the first guy to squat 1,000 pounds in Michigan.
Wow.
Multiply gear, real good dude. Really, him and his crew took me under their wing. There's like 4,000 pound squatters in that group. I couldn't even believe it. I'd never seen 100-pound plates before, and show up to train. We're peeling these 100-pound plates off the squat bar, and I was just mesmerized. So, anyways, I started doing meets with them. Well, actually, I take that back. I did a couple meets on my own, not really knowing what I was doing. Just like ADFPA. I still got the videos on my YouTube. So looking back, they were really kind of like low energy meets. Like they didn't even have music playing at these meets.
Oh wow.
I did pretty good in these meets. And then I met the Strength Beyond crew, and they took me under their wing. And so they actually did an in-house meet, and they're like, Dan, you should probably do this. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And so I did a raw kind of unsanctioned meet there. And the guys from the Detroit area were invited out there. So Kevin was one of those guys. And so we had this in-house meet in the back of the gym. Met Kevin, met a bunch of guys that I'm still lifelong friends with. And, had a really good day. Had like a 585 squat, a 360 bench, and a 551 deadlift. They were all PRs at that time. And then I was hooked at that point. I was already hooked on lifting weights, but hooked on competitive powerlifting at that point in time. And then it just took off from there. I did the 3 raw meets, and then I did 4 geared powerlifting meets after that. I got into wearing like single ply equipment and multiply equipment, like bench shirts and squat suits, deadlift suit, and all that. So did that for a couple years because pretty much everyone at that gym was competing in gear. So they were able to kind of show me that. Got up to around 800 pounds on a squat in training, never put that together at a meet. I hit 755 at a meet in Iowa on squat, 495 on a bench, and deadlift I really didn't do anything with the deadlift suit I could never really get more out of. I think I hit 633, which was just a little bit above what I had hit raw. And then after a few meets in the gear, I chose to go back to raw. I was just personally more impressed with the raw stuff, and just it was funner for me. So yeah, the geared stuff was cool, but I was like, you know what? It's fun. It's fun that the whole group's into it, but I fell in lifting. I fell in love with lifting with just, belt, wrist wraps, whatever. And that had been raw ever since. So at some point I turned into raw with knee wraps probably 10 years ago. Started using knee wraps. And so that's how I lift still. Belt, knee wraps, wrist wraps, they call it classic raw. So yeah, that started the powerlifting fire. And then I've been competing ever since. I've always had at least a couple powerlifting clients, even back then. I was going to Western Michigan for the exercise science program. So I was always studying and learning to become a college strength coach. That was my goal, was to be a strength coach for like football, hockey in college. I was volunteering and interning with Western's strength program, and then kind of realized I wanted to go more private sector just because I could get started with it a little bit sooner. The college stuff, as you guys know, you guys have met a lot of college strength coaches. You go through the graduate program and, a lot more volunteering and stuff. And I was like, the glory of working with a team is really cool, but I think I'm going to go this kind of private route. So from there, I've always kind of had some powerlifting clients, whether that be just helping them program over, online email, stuff like that. Or, I've always also had a handful of people that I'm working with in person 3-4 days a week for meets. And just always love the sport, love doing it, love helping out people. I dork out on programming really hardcore. So love helping people, troubleshoot some of their programming needs, troubleshoot some issues with that. And just love helping people get PRs and overcoming stuff, overcoming an injury and coming back, or, putting together a plan to PR a lift that they've been stalled on for a long time. And just a great community. Most everybody's, really good people, and, real supportive. And kind of like Kevin said, if I've gained anything from all this, it's met a lot of really great people. And, if I look around at all the people that are closest to me, I've probably met well over 90% of them from the weights in one way or another.
It's definitely a rewarding process, helping others out, whether it's the programming, helping them get a PR on a new lift, and just like you were saying, just so many people in the community are just good people.
Absolutely. And there's a turd here and there, but it's like one out of 30 people, you know what I mean? So it's like, that kind of gives us a bad name here and there. But like I said, you go to a meet and it's like most people are cheering you on, encouraging you. And it becomes a little bit contagious in a good way.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen that from just little local, not even meets, just like little local gym, like the Victory Gym bench thing. Everybody, they don't even know you. They're clapping for you, cheering you on.
Exactly. No, I heard you guys talking about that on with the show with Kevin, and that's kind of like what that unsanctioned backyard meet that I was talking about, where I met Kevin. It's like, this doesn't count for anything besides just pride and fun. Mm-hmm. And you have a blast, man. It's like, Kevin talks about his garage being like his bar or whatever, but you feel like you left a huge party where it was just a ton of fun and, stuff like that. So absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of people too, they look at it like, oh, you guys are just lifters, just into working out. It's like, no, there's a lot more. There's a deeper side to it. Like, these are some good people we're having good conversations with, networking. There's a lot more to it behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I mean, you hear it on the internet all the time now, like, don't make it your identity. But I mean, if you're not an asshole to people, like, it can be not a bad identity. You meet a lot of great people. I don't know, for me, maybe I'm a little biased because I do this for a living, train people pay me for programs, stuff like that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as you're living the life you want to live.
And even those little meetups, man, like, I've never really thought of competing with powerlifting or anything, but like just that Victory Gym thing, it just makes it fun. It's like, oh my God, This is awesome. Like, these community of people like cheering you on and you're cheering other people on. It was similar when we went to the Cyrenix get together in South Carolina. It's just That it's like that environment is just awesome. Like we've had that ourselves in your garage too.
It's hard to replicate that also.
Well,
There's
for
not a
sure.
whole lot of other things out there, where people are like cheering you on like that. And it doesn't matter what, the amount of weight you're lifting.
Yeah.
You're getting cheered
For
on
people,
either
when you
way.
think about all these other things where people are cutting each other down all the time, it's it's positive, and everyone's just trying to get better, and you understand the struggle everyone else is going through. If maybe you see someone struggling and you see your younger self in that, of like trying to overcome something, or in my case, I work with some older guys too, and it's like you see, hey, what guys might be dealing with when they're in their 50s or 60s, and you want to see them succeed, and it's easy to get behind. But again, you don't have to compete in powerlifting either. I'm in powerlifting because I love lifting weights and I love being in the gym, and kind of like Kevin, I'm a meet day lifter too. I'm love to compete. I'm real competitive. The sports I played, but again, I do powerlifting not because of the powerlifting. I do it because I love to lift weights, and it gives me a reason to lift weights and be around people that do, because I like people that lift weights.
Yeah. I remember Kevin told me, which is kind of opposite. He said he hates training. He just likes competing.
He's over exaggerating a little bit. I know what he means.
Yeah.
He's definitely a game day lifter, and I'll speak for him saying he loves training more than probably doing a whole lot of other things besides hanging out with his wife. But yeah, he's definitely, we definitely both prefer it to be a meet day. Like I'll get decently pumped up for a top set, a max effort set in training, but there's nothing like the meet day adrenaline where, you don't get this lift, it doesn't count. You don't get this lift, you embarrass your gym, embarrass yourself. And, you don't get to beat the guy that, is, going after you or whatever. So yeah, just something about the meet day. It's kind of cool. It holds you accountable. And, if you played hockey, football, or whatever, baseball, whatever sport, wrestling, it allows you to kind of flip that competitive switch a little bit.
It's always exciting too. It's like, it's that self-induced mission, right?
Exactly.
It's like nobody's forcing you to do it. This is something you love doing, and you're like, hey, I'm working towards this meet. I don't have to do it, but I love doing this. This is what I want to do. Let's see, how far I can push it and where I can get.
Exactly. That's where it's important to be around other lifters, because when you're by yourself, you can very easily talk yourself out of that at times too. So it's great to have people with shared mission, shared goal. Like, hey, we're all trying to be the best we can. So like Kevin said, hey, someone's not bringing the juice one day. You got 5 other training partners, 8 other training partners that are checking in. Like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, get your head out of your ass. Hey, I know you can squat better than that. Let's get a little bit deeper. Let's put a little more force into the bar, or let's believe in ourselves a little bit, because, hey, you said you want to do this. So here's your chance, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
With Omnevo, like, are you guys going to have any type of meets there now that you have this new facility?
Yeah, we definitely are. I've talked to a lot of lifting community. I haven't really put anything out there in public, but we are 100% going to be a meet hosting facility. We're going to kind of take our time getting going with that. We're probably looking at calendar year of 2027, just because I want to give lifters plenty of time to have notice of it. There's a lot of meets that are already scheduled for the next year, throughout the different feds. So that'll be a decision we'll be making probably within the next 6 to 8 months on what federation is it going to be, what's the meet going to be called, when are we going to have it. So I'd like to plug it in the calendar where it's going to kind of complement the meets that are already happening in there, that are already popular, and then be at a spot where, a lot of those lifters would be attracted to coming here and doing it. Because we look at it like, hey, we've got 27,000 square feet. We got an upstairs and a downstairs with a balcony. So we could literally have the sickest platform, basically, where we'd have a platform down on the turf, and then you got viewing upstairs and downstairs for people to hang out, watch, and stuff like that. So we're 100% going to have some meets, full power meets, probably 2 or 3 different federations. And our goal with that is to make it just an experience that you won't forget, for veteran lifters who want to make it, a place that's got an insane energy for the meet day. It's got top-notch spotting, top-notch judging, top-notch equipment. And then for the new lifter, we want it to be something that just gets them hooked for life. You know what I mean? To where, hey, you got the music you want to hear blasting, you got the crowd getting behind you, you got just a really cool stage to do your thing. And so we're gonna do our best to carry the torch on that and really put something together that'll be fun and, you know, kind of give back to the sport what we think it needs.
I love hearing that too, that you guys are really taking your time with everything, making sure it's, of the utmost quality and, not just like rushing stuff, putting stuff out there. It goes to show that you guys care, right? You guys are genuine gym owners that want the best experience for your members.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we could slap a meet together for next week, but it would probably be terrible. You know what I mean? Like, stuff takes time. You want to get, get all your ducks in a row, give people plenty of heads up to prepare for it, and also get plenty of heads up to the people that would be asking to help, with judging and spotting and all that, to where, we're not just putting together a ragtag crew.
Yeah.
So there's nothing worse than seeing a video of like spotters that aren't even spotting and then like a bar falling on somebody. So
misloading weights and stuff.
Exactly. So I want to have some veteran people doing that. And so we'll take our time making sure that happens.
Yeah, and I think it's really going to pay off too, just taking your time with everything. And plus, like, how much time you took, with opening this gym to have quality equipment. Like, it sets yourself apart from other gyms. And that's a big thing about, I've questioned with ourselves, like, wanting to open up a gym one day. Well, there's all these gyms around you, right? There's Lifetime Fitness, there's LA Fitness, but it's important to set yourself apart, and you having all this quality equipment and eventually doing meets and everything and building this community is really going to set yourself apart. And I think that's important.
Yeah, no, we really believe it. And, again, we don't think we know everything, so we need to make changes along the way that's going to be, better for the lifting community and fitness community in the area. We'll do what we need to do. So we're definitely not, we got our vision, but we're not, set in our ways completely on how that's going to go down.
Yeah, that's definitely too just part of the process, right? Trial and error, hearing things from people and understand this is what people want, and we're going to learn along the way. And I could tell you, like, you guys are doing a great job, because just looking at your social media page, I'm seeing things I don't see in other gyms, and that's catching my eye. Just to scroll through the page, like, oh my God, they got that. I want to go there now, right? And that's marketing, everything like that. I mean, it's super important.
Yeah, like I said, it's been a great team effort. We've got a great staff that, we got people, we got clients that are photographers that have come in and done these professional photos for us. We got staff that sits down and takes the time to, some staff with marketing training that sits down and takes the time to put all the posts together and all that. So yeah, we're really proud of it. And, we really want to try to get the word out there that we do have all these services of that, that kind of fit together, although they seem a little bit different. We've got the Pilates classes. We've got stuff for powerlifters, stuff for bodybuilders, stuff for someone we got stuff that for people that are brand new to the gym. We got a lot of people there. This is their first gym they've ever been to. They've been scared of working out before, again, all the way to some guys that were here tonight. I think we had 3 guys in here tonight that pretty much win any meet they sign up for and compete nationally, so it's a great mix of people. And, we're just trying to get the word out about those different services. So
I'm super excited to check it out.
Yeah, we are. I can't wait. Right when Drew told me about that gym, I looked it up and I texted him immediately. I was like, dude, we have to go here.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys. Maybe tell Drew when you're coming out too and get him out here.
Oh yeah, I should.
Yeah, you guys, plan a day where you guys got a few hours, and we'll take you guys through a lift and let you guys hang out with the saunas, and if you want to play some pickleball or volleyball, whatever you guys want to do, stay all day.
Yeah, for sure. So where is Omnevo Fitness for people watching?
Yeah, we're located in Livonia, between Newburgh and Wayne Road, I want to say. So we're pretty well located off of 96. If you're going on 96, I-96, you're going to get off on the Newburgh exit or like Farmington Road exit, go to Plymouth Road, and we're right around there. I say that because, like Kevin said, there's a ton of construction right now, and we got people kind of going all over the place right around our entrance. So it's easy to find on Plymouth Road, so to speak. But yeah, kind of smack dab in the middle of Livonia. For those that are local listening, we're right across the street from the roller skating rink that's been here since got this roller skating rink that's been here since like 1924. So yeah, and right over by the Victory Honda ice rink as well, for those of you that are familiar hockey wise. So yeah, Livonia, we're just east of like downtown Plymouth, not too far from Northville. Yeah, and then you're pretty accessible off of 275, 96, all that. So we got people that come in from all over. A lot of people right here in Livonia. Um, we got clients that drive from an hour away, half hour away. You got a lot of people from downriver. A lot of people all over Oakland County. Some people from Macomb County. So yeah, we're easy to get to, but also super blessed that people really go out of their way to come here too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a gem, I mean, there's not a whole lot of, we've said this before, Michigan in general, you don't see a whole lot of gyms like this that offer everything you guys are offering.
No, there's a couple that we're really big fans of. But yeah, it's, we're trying to make it kind of one of a kind. Like, again, we got a lot of friends that have powerlifting places and they're freaking badass in their own right. We're not trying to be just the powerlifting only place. We're not trying to be just the fitness only place, not trying to be just the Pilates only place, but we know that our building's so massive that we can kind of have all those things coexisting as one. And, we're just, I guess we're just trying, we're kind of putting the product out there in the way that with what we see is possible with a facility like Bennett. I think Lifetime's great, and I understand why they have the equipment they do. I understand why they can't use chalk because like it's a pain in the ass to manage all that shit. But I also know that we can manage that stuff here. Not that we're like better than them per se, but we're more entrenched in the lifting world. We're more entrenched in the personal training world. So I feel like we know how to make that all work, and we've got the faith that we will figure out how to make it work better and better, every day without being cocky about it or overconfident. Like I said, we've got members and clients telling us every day little ways that we can make it a little bit better experience. So yeah, just leaning into that. And at the end of the day, I think we really just want to make it a place where people who love the gym, whether they're veteran lifters or former athletes, whatever it is, feel really comfortable and excited to come to. And then also that person who's never been to the gym feels comfortable and excited coming in after they've come in. So we'll keep kind of pushing what happens towards that vision. And, you said, be open to the feedback and listen to it as we go.
And you guys are only going to improve from here, right? You guys just opened up, he's got all these years in the future. So,
well, hey, absolutely. No, that's our mindset with it. And I think as long as we stay open to that and stay open to feedback, just like you guys know, as long as there's that intent to constantly get better, there's a chance for it. Right. Mm-hmm. So absolutely.
Where can people find you, like on Instagram and everything, if they want to reach out for either personal training or your gym?
Sure. Yeah. So, if you want to DM me personally or ask about the gym, I'm just on Instagram at Coach Dan's Training. You can also follow us at Omnevo.Fitness on Instagram or Facebook. Feel free to message me on there. I'll probably be the one answering you on there. If not, one of our staff members will. And, we'll answer any questions you got, whether that's on memberships, personal training, programming, just coming out to the gym. Don't be shy. We respond really fast, and we'd love to have everybody in. Like I said, we do a $10 day pass. You can do that every day of the year. Other than that, we're open 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, even holidays. So there's that as well. Said, shoot us a DM, give the gym a call. We'd love to hear from any of you.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on. I know Ethan and I are looking forward to coming in and checking out the gym.
Hey, I really appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, I love what you guys are doing with the show. I'm going to continue being a fan and listen to all the episodes. And like Kevin said, I'm available anytime you guys want to chat. I've got your back. Love to be on. And I'm really looking forward to having you guys out in person.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you. It was cool talking to Dan about Omnevo Fitness and his weightlifting journey. I can't wait to visit that gym.
Yeah, we're definitely going to check it out here soon. They offer a lot of cool stuff that we don't see too much in gyms around here. And we've talked about that before.
Yeah, especially like the cold plunge. There's not any gym over here that has that. Nope. So I can't wait to try that.
And if there is, they're hard to find.
I know. All right, I'm going to try this. Why didn't you bring the new one?
I forgot.
Yeah, he's got a new one, guys. He didn't bring it.
Finally, after a year. After a year, I got a new one.
Yeah, well, that one's horrible because it felt like fire going through my nose.
Got the brand new smelling salts.
Well, yeah, thanks, Dan, for coming on the show, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace out.
Peace.